It's always the same story. I don't know how many times I've actually read this basic genesis of this story. Nobel laureate wins prize. Nobel laureate starts to talk about in their early years how they couldn't get a job and no institution would even take a look at them, and very few of their colleagues even paid attention to them and likely discredited them. And this story plays out time and time again. And I think about this all the time. So if there is this one person that experienced this, then, I'd probably say that, hey, the scientific mechanism is working, right? For the most part, it's actually sort of sorting out everybody except for the odd person. But when it's a general consistency, a pattern that you see repeatedly in almost every single field, beginning with Einstein, we have to sort of think about what is actually going on here. What is the problem? And it's not necessarily that one person that you want to point out, but it's all of the people that actually tried and missed out, or all of the people that have tried and almost got there and didn't necessarily make a large contribution like a Nobel Prize, but actually was important to the process. And I've been thinking about this a lot. And I think about, what would it mean, or what would it look like if we had a system that was encouraging, a system that got people up, enjoyed the process, had fun, and what would it look like if anybody could actually participate in any nth degree, whatever that might look like? And I know that seems pie in the sky idea, but I think about that a lot. What if we actually were able to change the system so that anybody at any skill level can participate and potentially make a contribution, a scientific contribution, whatever that looks like? And, my idea with the Reciprocity Project in terms of what I'm trying to do is sort of following along on that. But then, what would that sort of look like and how might that feel? And I think ultimately, if we solve that problem, which is a hard problem, and I don't think I'd be able to do it in the course of 10 years, I think I can have a little bit of a shot in like 30 or 40 years. But, this is a hard problem to solve. But I think if we even scratch the surface at it, we can make a dent, a sizable contribution, change how things are done just a little bit. So, at the heart of it, I think lies this idea that competition is good. And I've heard that a lot, and I think a lot of things are structured in that way. But I would argue it's actually not necessarily as good as what people would think. If I think about all of the things that I do that add value, that people would say that's within a competitive domain, I actually don't do it because of any sort of competition. Right? The reason why I'm going for a walk right now, even though that I can compete, is because I just like to walk. And there's no practical application of it, I guess, in terms of keeping me happy and healthy. That's an important thing. But, that there's all these elements, right? I swim because I like to swim. I don't compete. I dance because I just like to dance. I'm not a good dancer, but sometimes I'll get up and dance, right? Like, I think of all these kind of things, all these elements of life that we do it just for the sheer pleasure of it. And there's very little competition that's in it. And it's the odd person that actually does it. And then even if you talk about the people that are competing at a high level, you listen to those stories, they don't do it for the competition. The odd person does it for the competition. Most of them do it just because they enjoy it. It's a part of who they actually are. So I'm not a big fan of competition. I think it's a distraction more than anything. And, the reason why many of us actually watch, yeah, there's some part of the competition, but it's also because they're beautiful. They look like they are outstanding in their particular field. Like, you wonder how they actually do it. Now, I think about that all the time. How do we tap in to, because the way that it's actually set up right now, science is a competitive game, and only the elite ever get rewarded. Only a very small fraction ever get rewarded for what they're actually doing. And it doesn't matter what domain you're looking at, and you pick the competition, you pick the level, it's always the same thing. That there is this hundreds of people apply to get it, or one get it. And it doesn't matter the domain, it's always the same story. So how do we change that? How do we recognize people that want to contribute? So you look at the bottom half, or the bottom quarter, or quartile, and you look at that and you think, those are bad resources, right? We shouldn't incorporate them. But what if we can substitute in other ways to get them to participate so that they actually still live out their dream and they actually love this? And I think about that all the time. Like, why aren't we utilizing this? These are people that are giving the signal that they want to participate, and yet we turn them away because they're not good enough. I just think we can change this. We can make it a lot more fun and a positive experience, and really, really have it very enjoyable throughout how we're actually doing things. And it just requires somebody to start working on it, start working on this problem. And, if there's other people that are out there that want to participate, by all means, you can participate and help me out. But, ultimately, I'm going to keep sticking with this because I think it's such an important problem that not only we sort of messing up scientists that are and researchers that are part of the process that are currently doing it, but we're also missing out on a massive base of resources. So how do we do it? What do? We change it. We embrace some really important changes with technology, and we just keep going at it. We just keep plugging away and seeing if we can get more and more people to participate and having fun and enjoying the process. I think about all these moments in our lives that we do things just for the hell of it. And I think, why not have that around something like science? Wouldn't that be fun?